Hi, everybody, and welcome to the new episode of Kaiju and Coffee. I'm Travis. This is Nick.
Hello.
Today, we're going to be talking about, as a follow-up to Godzilla 1985, we're going to do Godzilla 2000. And this is maybe the last of all of them that we'll do that I saw in the theater. Nick, you didn't see it in the theater. You saw it on tape.
No, I wanted to. But yeah, as soon as it came out on VHS, I got it.
This was apparently Toho's response to the Matthew Broderick film, right? They
were not pleased.
They weren't going to let that slide.
No.
And wow, it's really something. It's not quite 85 with its rough edge. It's a late, the late 90s film. I found it to be kind of dull, really, at spots. It's paced. It's got the long, steady pace going.
Yeah.
We call it a technical battle and everything. They're sure not to shoot their wad too early. But Godzilla looks different. He's been through a few different updates, right?
Yeah, it's yet another reboot.
Right.
And they remade the suit. And they, it's really actually a totally different, look. The dorsal fins on his back are much longer.
Oh, definitely. We saw the line of the neck. He's got neck lines and leg lines.
I shouldn't say it's a totally different look, because it's not. It's more close to the classic Godzilla.
Right. I mean, this dude has been working on his shoulders. Holy shit! And his neck. Dude's traps. He's like Bill Goldberg. His traps were insane. His jaw was just massive. Yeah. They definitely edged up his look. He looked really powerful. What was your first impression of this film?
When I first saw it, when I was 10, well, my first memories of it were seeing the commercials for it on the TV and being, super pumped, because it wasn't every day.
Right.
When you saw a commercial for a Godzilla movie that was coming out.
That was like the only one in our lifetime, aside from the Broderick one.
Yeah. And it was the real Godzilla,
right.
And I didn't get to see it in the theater, but it came out relatively soon after it hit the theaters, I think maybe 2 months after.
Probably because it came out in Japan first, right?
Yeah.
And so they were ready to go to home video.
Yeah, I think it was released in America in the theaters in August, and I'm pretty sure by October it was already out on tape.
Right.
So. But yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I remembered the kid. I remembered the monster and some of the shit that it did towards the end with the wires and shit. I thought the designs were pretty somewhat uninspired early on, because early on there's this meteorite. The monster comes from a meteorite that's under the ocean that is old as shit. It looks like the Predator ship. We're big Predator and Alien fans and all that stuff. And so this came out, in 2000. It's filmed in late 90s.
Released in Japan in 99.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, then filmed even earlier than probably 98 or earlier. But, oh, man, it really wants to be Independence Day. Because that's just...
Which is ironic.
It's just a couple years later. Same director.
Yeah, that's the American one.
But, yeah, it really wants to be Independence Day, really hard. And this rock, I mean, they've got us looking at this rock for a long time, for long periods of the film, and it's just a rock.
When I was a kid, I didn't realize how certain aspects of it drag on like that.
Right.
But as an adult watching it back, man, it takes forever.
It was a slog. I was bitching a lot. He was dealing with me bitching, but he fell asleep.
Yeah.
So,
but I watched it a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
So. But it's been a while, though. It's been at least 10 years since
It's a bit of a slog. You wait a while for things to happen, and even the battle, it's they really pace themselves out. He's going to get bumped around by a ship for a while.
Yeah.
And then before the other big monster suit shows up. It's pretty intimidating looking enemy, I thought.
Yeah.
I did remember that. I was asking you, I was like, is this the kind of space Godzilla one? Because he kind of gets Godzilla-ish. He keeps biting him and then turning into him. He gets wounded and then CGIs himself back together a la Wolverine.
It kind of reminded me of Biollante.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, with the
I probably mixed them up
or whatever you want
because I remember I was like, oh, the fight scene's brutal, but I was probably thinking the Biollante one because this one's not really. There wasn't really any blood or anything.
It was a
like
pretty
that.
good fight scene.
No, I didn't say it wasn't good. I just wasn't a gusher like some of them can be. But we probably should talk about the CGI.
In the beginning, like some of the opening shots where they're driving at night when he first shows up, really good shots, I thought. Yeah, they composite him well with night shots in the background, and you'll have traffic in the front. They've been doing that forever, like since pretty early on. But they digitally, and even in the late 90s, they can do it okay as long as it's dark. It looks really decent. But yeah, that CGI and during the daytime.
Yeah, so that was the first look we got of it. And you pointed out, like, man, that looks pretty decent. And I was like, yeah, it does. And then they went to the daytime, and it didn't. There's a scene that wants to be The Abyss, James Cameron's The Abyss, where there's a bunch of big-ass ships around, and a thing comes up. It even looks like the thing from The Abyss. Also looks like, kind of reminds me of not The Arrival, but Arrival from last year, with the way the ships sit like that. But yeah, it wants to be The Abyss, and these fake, terrible-looking ships look like, CGI water toys more than giant ships, and there's a lot of that as well.
The underwater CGI doesn't hold up either.
No, I mean it's like a PlayStation cutscene, really. Yeah. But
it's early on for the
But they never got to do that before. Right. You can't film Godzilla in a suit underwater back in the day. Swimming, you can do that.
And I think too with to combat the American one, there were scenes of that underwater, so they figured they had to do it, with this one, with the Japanese one. And now they could with the CGI. Right. So,
well, I mean that's the way the technology goes. They're going to adapt it as they go.
Yeah.
It's 2000. We were getting Dracula 2000. We got Godzilla 2000. Everything was getting updated around that time.
I mean, it makes more sense as far as them swimming, as walking through the water like they did in some of the older ones.
Yeah, apparently the shallows is where he was walking. There are times, I think, when there just doesn't seem to be a lot of good films coming out, and I think, obviously, I think one of those times is like the late 90s to the early 2000s. There aren't like a ton that you really like, and I was
just
talking
all the way around.
Yeah, and I was talking. Yeah, and we're not obviously talking kaiju films. We're talking all kinds of films. I was talking to you earlier. I was like, 2010, 2011. I don't really remember anything that memorable coming out. I mean, I remember being memorable because it wasn't good, but like the Thing prequel.
Or Predators.
Yeah, Predators. Holy shit. But it had Oleg Taktarov in it. That was our first Don fucking Fry moment.
Which we'll get to that.
Yeah, you just wait till we get to Godzilla Final Wars.
Yeah.
There's something about, some of these films where you're like, oh, well, here's an old MMA legend in your monster movie. Didn't see that coming. Like, when's Bob Sapp going to show up? But yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of, like, sucking of Godzilla's essence out of this one. Like, tendrils get him like it's Hellraiser, latching into him and pulling him down. He gets pulled into this big hook mouth at one point towards the end. Like some fucking David Cronenberg body horror shit. Like, he's just going to get eaten and assimilated by this big-ass monster. But as I remember, it was just to get that kill shot on him because he was all hard. He couldn't hurt him from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it a lot when I was a kid. But I can see the flaws in it.
Well, I mean, what an experience!
Watch it now.
What an experience to see it in the movie theater. I'm sorry you didn't get to.
No.
But no, really, it's to get to.
I didn't get to see this one, but I saw the fucking '98 one.
There you go. Well, I mean, we were hyped for that like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like,
not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And I liked it then too.
Right. Yeah, I was like, well, it came out, so it's amazing. And this one, I just came out of it. All most I remember was the annoying ass kid and
I want to say they treat I don't know the character's name, but they treat her like dog shit.
Yeah, there's the comedic relief.
Yeah.
Love interest combination character, a reporter, of course. It's always going to be it's often going to be a reporter. But yeah, she kind of gets rough go.
Yeah.
I mean, people get like tempted murdered and shit. One guy has a face off with Godzilla at the end. He's just like, they're like, run, and he's like, nope, I'm gonna stand here with my tire blowing in the wind like it has the whole film.
You didn't really feel bad for the guy because he's, tried to kill.
Yeah, I was like, what
the main character and somebody that he knew.
Right.
He knew he was in there.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, kind of flat, kind of dull.
Yeah, but I want to say this: out of the '90s and 2000s era Godzilla, right. It's one of the standout ones.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for nostalgic reasons as well.
Yeah.
And when the music kicks in, it is what it is.
Yeah, and they don't hit you with the classic Godzilla theme until late.
Yeah,
until right before the final battle.
It's when it's going down.
Yeah.
Up until then, it's a lot of comedy, a lot of pratfalls, shit like that. So
a lot of waiting too.
Yeah. Computers. Lots of computers. This one.
I mean, overall, I think it's a worthy entry in the series. Yeah.
Well, I have nothing against it.
No.
I just didn't find it to be the most exciting one.
No. But
it's about backing us off from that nuclear edge. It's not supposed to be fun.
No.
No, I'm kidding. It can be fun.
The thing is, when I was a kid watching these movies, I didn't care about the nuclear
message.
But now, as an adult, that kind of draws me into it.
That's the hippie shit.
Yeah, it draws me into it.
They're just big hippie movies.
So now, when I watch one of these ones back, where that's not really an aspect of the film, or it's not a part of the story so much, I'm not as drawn into it.
Right.
So it's like the opposite. So.
Yeah, this one's more like multinational corporations and shit like that. Into the 2000s, everything was that. Like, RoboCop was way ahead of its time back in 87. They knew that corporations were going to be people. And they fucking knew it, and they were right. And then they turned a man into a robot. So that's our review of RoboCop. I fucking love that shit.
Detroit, man.
I fucking love that shit. Those Fords. What were those? What were those Fords? Like an Escort or some shit? Those cop cars.
Oh,
I can't remember.
It's been a while.
It's funny as shit. I love it. You got anything else for Godzilla 2000?
Would you recommend watching it?
Well,
if for somebody that maybe has seen some of the older ones from like the 70s and 60s, and would you? There's
some I'd recommend first, but if they've already seen them, go ahead. Because, this was, the only one we knew about. There's a whole treasure trove of other ones that we didn't know about.
Yeah, and this was the last one until Shin, the last Japanese Godzilla film until Shin, that got an American release in the theaters.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about.
So
we got all kinds of shit that, we didn't know about back in the day.
This came out, and the next
it was like, where'd that come from?
Yeah,
where did that come
from? The next year they had another one, and then it was like back to back to back, and I didn't know anything about it until years later. So
it was an anomaly.
Yeah,
for a long time to us, but now we know. So yeah, check it out if you're down, but you're not missing much.
The better ones you could start off with.
I mean, he looked jacked, though.
Yeah.
Dude's been in the gym, so if you're looking for some motivation to get yoked, Godzilla's traps were crazy.
And some of the shots, the suit looks...
Yeah, like I said, some of those early night composite shots look really good.
There was a big ass don't look so great, But
yeah, no. Sometimes it just looked like they just threw him up on a screen.
I like the shots where he's getting ready to shoot his atomic breath.
Yeah.
And I like how they changed it up. Like, they changed the color for this one. It's like orange, dark orange instead of blue. And he kind of swings his head to give it more of an effect.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, you can see that. That's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were definitely trying to change, little aspects of it to give it a fresh feel.
Yeah, it doesn't look so stiff.
Yeah.
With that type of stuff. Like I said, the technology is just getting better and better. Now it's just somebody in a mocap suit or just clickety clicking.
Yeah.
You're telling me it's not really a giant moth? You just ruined my life.
What the fuck you telling me, man? It's real, man.
It's still real to me.
Damn it.
Well, I guess that's all we got for Godzilla 2000. Thanks for joining me here, Nick.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, brother. All right, y'all take care. We'll see you.